Welcome back to the show, everybody. Well, we got a hot one for you today. We got RippleNet's general manager, Ashish Birla, in an interview. Credit to Leonidas and Kathy Chu for that. And he is going to talk about the SEC lawsuit. You're going to want what he says on that. You're going to want what he says on everything, including Swift and Bitcoin and Ethereum for payments and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, and Digital Perspectives, no spaces, on TikTok. Make sure you give us a follow there. We're up 3.6% right now. It's $1.321 trillion market cap. Good morning or mid-morning, everybody. It's May 30th, 2022. Bitcoin 30,000 plus right now. Ethereum 1,800 plus, and XRP at the number 6 spot is 39 cents this morning. Probably 40 on Fiat Link, as we see, ranging between 38 and 40 cents. We'll keep an eye on it. Let's get started this morning. This is a reminder right here that the special looks like it's still going on here. $5,000 minimum Ripple on Ripple shares on link2.com, ladies and gentlemen. Click the link underneath the video. And if you've done it before and you signed up before, click the link again for me anyway, because I tell you, you never know. You want to make sure you get the credit for this purchase. So use the link underneath the video, even if you've registered with them before. Let's get into the news, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, we see renowned sports betting and fantasy sports company DraftKings joined the cryptocurrency industry. First NFTs, now crypto payments. It just keeps getting bigger, and you're going to see evidence of that all the way through this information today. Charles Hoskinson sent out that seemed to show data that showed, based on data from Masari, 24-hour transaction volume for Cardano, however you say it, was $9.57 billion, which means that it was second only to that of Bitcoin and higher than that of Ethereum. Uh-oh. Writing may be on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. I think people are starting to figure it out. Shout out to Charles Hoskinson. I wish him great success. He is a very, very brilliant man and very nice as well. So here we see this new feature allows USDC to migrate from Ethereum to, Cardano. I tell you, even more evidence that everyone's starting to figure out that Ethereum is a broken network. The fees are too high. You're going to hear evidence of that in just a moment from the RippleNet GM too. MoneyGram to support transfers via stablecoin, CEO says. Crypto is obviously here to stay. Now, I'm not going to play it for you, but here is evidence of someone doing a stellar global transaction via MoneyGram and how quick it went through. There is some music playing in that, so I don't want a copyright strike. But again, we all understand clearly that Stellar has moved into the MoneyGram partnership after Ripple had the partnership with MoneyGram, and then the lawsuit came from the SEC. They backed out. Stellar moved in. I think it's good all the way around because it gives both projects a chance to really show regulators in a real live example of just how well their protocols work for both of them. So looking right here, this is future is XRP says it's official. JP Morgan has their new crypto called Onyx. This is what they plan to compete with XRP. They cannot be serious. This runs on ETH, the network that bottlenecks and costs the most to use. I tell you, a fish rots from its head. That's one of the old sayings they used to say back in the day, but you know what? We're going to start with this. And again, credit to Leonidas and credit to Kathy Chu for the original interview here. This is straight fire. You're going to hear this first clip of how great it would be if every bank issued a stable coin. And I also put together Anya Manuel, Ripple board member, to tell you 70% of big global banks are already pulling out of the correspondent banking system, especially in the U.S.
The government seems to be also waking up to this notion that, hey, listen, we need to get moving here on creating proper regulation. There's also a lot of regulation, at least talk, around the stablecoin aspect of it. And how great would it be if every bank in the United States issued a stablecoin on a blockchain? Now that would connect it to real world society and solve real world problems. But that stablecoin regulation needs to pass, it needs to get adopted, and it needs to be well written, just like the Telecommunication Act was written in the 1960s that helped the internet flourish. But I'm excited. I'm excited to participate in it, excited to help guide it. I think it needs to happen. I think more of it needs to happen more broadly for us to really take off as an industry for this next phase of growth.
Completely agree. And before you hear the Anya Manuel clip real quickly, I just want to insert there. He cited the Telecommunications Act and made it comparable to legislation for stable coins. That's how important it is. The Telecommunications Act allowed the U.S. to be the leader in the birth of the internet. He is making it comparable to legislation for or regulation for stable coins. This is an enormous analogy or comparison for me, and I do not take it lightly because I do believe that will be something that comes first. Now, whether it comes from the U.S. Treasury and FSOC and OFAC, or whether it comes from Congress itself getting off of their duff and actually doing their job, we'll see. But huge comment for what it really means to have that kind of clarity for stable coins. Because he said, imagine every bank issuing their own stable coin. And then you have to imagine what protocols would they trust enough to really have all these stable coins from all these banks on with all this interoperability.
Correspondent banking system. That is super important because through SWIFT, the US and the West has basically had a system in place. If you don't do what we want, Iran or North Korea, you won't have access to the international banking system. People won't bank with you. Well, that is becoming less and less powerful, partly through the digital yuan and partly through other innovations where people are just going around SWIFT because it's slow and inaccurate in all those ways that Monica and Christina are about to talk about in bringing.
And that's important to understand. She's telling you that SWIFT is becoming less powerful. So that means that the U.S. has less power and control over the other countries in the financial system. Keep listening. Reminder, Ripple's a U.S. company that developed an asset that can be used all over the world, jurisdictionless. Keep listening.
Payments out of the digital era. But this is a really key point because Ripple is really at the cutting edge of this. So you guys should all be really proud to work here. 75% of big global banks, especially US ones, are pulling out of the international correspondent banking system.
Thank you for that, Anya. And then when you put that together with Ashish Burla's comment, you have to wonder, are they all going to be launching stable coins? And if so, again, I ask you, what value protocol might they be considering adopting for just such a thing as Christian Carlo recommends as an option too, to adopt a value protocol so it can be held to the constitutional standard so the citizens of the United States can get the same constitutional standard for value transfer as they do every other right they have in the world. Pretty damn interesting. Now, when you think of this, there's the rest of this clip. I put together some highlights here. This is straight fire. I'm going to let it run until we hit a hot spot, and we're going to hit a few of them. Check it out.
What I wanted to ask you is, how is the uncertainty of that case weighing on the company as well as on RippleNet, the technology platform that you manage?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good question. I think, number one, I think the entire industry, is looking at this case. So the entire crypto industry is looking at this case to set precedent. So I think it's not important just for Ripple. I think it's important for the entire crypto industry. And in terms of how it's impacted us, I mean, we are coming off of record growth. in our business. And in RippleNet, the division that I run, which provides enterprise crypto solutions for financial institutions and corporates, is doing really well. I mean, we've had a banner year. We're doing a run rate of over $15 billion for our payments business alone. So I think that in terms of how it's affected us, I mean, we're resilient as a company. We've been doing this a long time, and these little bumps in the road, aren't going to deter us from our goal. And again, I'm just really happy that the team, our customers, they're seeing a lot of value in what we're building, so much so that they are double downing on our product and continuing to help us grow as a company, which I think also helps the industry as a whole as well.
So from Ashish Birla's perspective, this lawsuit is a mere bump in the road, but it is going to set precedent, not just for Ripple and XRP, but for the crypto space. Keep listening.
And for people who don't know too much about RippleNet, Ashish, RippleNet allows for crypto to be transferred around the world, correct? It's kind of like the SWIFT of the crypto world. Is that correct? So talk to me about how this works and why you had a record first quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just to go back, one thing that we introduced early on was a more modern type SWIFT replacement for moving money cross borders. SWIFT technology is built in the 1960s. Today, you have companies that are global almost instantly using the internet. They needed something more modern. We created something called RippleNet in 2015. But then we introduced the ability not only to message, but to settle payments. So that is actually moving funds in 2018 with an add-on service called on-demand liquidity. And the add-on service leverages XRP, a digital asset, to move money around the world. And that product has grown tremendously. As soon as we introduced that product and we started gaining momentum, we saw RippleNet traction go through the roof, which has been really exciting. That value proposition is really moving money around the world a lot faster with less cost in terms of capital costs of pre-funding around the world to grow their business. And again, a run rate for RippleNet overall, $15 billion. That is awesome. I would say that is better growth than I had expected. So I'm excited about continuing that. We're also available, the ODL product, on-demand liquidity product that leverages XRP, is available in 23 countries. So you can use our product to pay out into 23 different countries around the world. We're really excited about that. And again, we're doing great, especially in emerging markets where there isn't a solution like ours. It solves a real customer pain point.
I just want to add here real quickly, in a down market like we've been experiencing lately, and we all know pretty much where it's all coming from. But I just want to add, one of the things I look at and I talk about, one of my core tenets of what's in my portfolio and why is it there, I ask myself, if the trading in retail market were to stop today for the asset XRP or any other product that you hold in your portfolio or project or token, would it continue to survive without the retail investment? That answer for me with XRP is a resounding yes, and that brings me a lot of comfort. Keep listening.
And you have to use the XRP token, correct? You cannot, with RippleNet, you cannot use Bitcoin or others. You have to use XRP, correct?
Oh, you're going to want this.
That's correct. And we experimented early on, especially when there was very low liquidity in the market overall, with using Ethereum, using Bitcoin. But the costs of, on the Bitcoin network or on the Ethereum network, the gas fees associated with it were just too prohibitively expensive.
Prohibitively expensive. I mean, I tell you, somebody needs to talk to JP Morgan here about their little Onyx that runs on Ethereum. Ashish is giving you all the goods right here. It's too expensive. It's not a solution for the future. $30 plus $100. I've seen several $100. People screenshot it, send it to me. That is not a solution for the future. I'm telling you.
And so one thing that the XRP ledger does is that it's very efficient, only a couple of pennies, fraction of a pennies to settle transactions. It was really fast, 3 to 5 seconds versus the confirmation times you need with Bitcoin. So we're going to continue to look at all sorts of technologies to help our customers. But in terms of the settlement, XRP was built for payments, and it does a great job for what we need. And mainly, our customers love the experience we're able to offer with our product.
Now, I was thinking about this and thinking, is the aim of RippleNet and other competing platforms, is the aim to eventually replace SWIFT? I don't know if you saw the MasterCard CEO's comments at the World Economic Forum. I think they were asked, the panel was asked whether SWIFT would still be here in 5 years. Everyone said yes, and the MasterCard CEO said he did not think SWIFT will be here in 5 years. So I was thinking of that when I was writing these questions for you and thinking, is the aim to replace SWIFT?
Well, I think we have bigger ambitions than replacing SWIFT. So remember, to move money internationally, there's two components.
Bigger ambitions than just replacing SWIFT. Now, I went over this yesterday. The true potential of Ripple and XRP. Payments is just one aspect of what can be served and settled by Ripple and XRP. And he's letting you in on that right there. They are thinking much bigger than just SWIFT, which is trillions and trillions of dollars worth of payments daily.
There's the messaging component, but then you actually have to move the funds. That's not what SWIFT does. SWIFT only does the messaging. So they help banks communicate with each other around the world, but the settlement is done out of band. The great thing, I think, was really, really innovative about crypto and RippleNet is that we do both. We've modernized both. So using SWIFT for messaging is like WhatsApping using a fax machine today. So we modernized that using APIs. It's real time. But then we also do the settlement. There's not another solution out there that does both instantly like RippleNet. And so, our solution is now, a lot bigger than what SWIFT does. I think SWIFT is going to be around for 5 years. It takes a long time to change the entire banking system. I mean, upgrading the mainframe at BNY Mellon is probably a couple $100 million to do to modernize that so that they can move off of SWIFT. So I think
he's literally politely saying, yeah, I think it'll be around 5 years because it'll take that long to drain every one of their customers off of the network.
I think SWIFT is here to stay. I think the most innovative companies today are going to move off of SWIFT, and they're going to use modern technologies like crypto and what we're building at RippleNet. And that's really what's helping us grow. There is really no other alternative to SWIFT that's comprehensive and does more than the one that we built on top of crypto. So I'm excited about what's ahead for us.
Well, you know what? I'm excited too. I tell you, this is straight fire coming from RippleNet GM Ashish Burla. Shout out to you. Shout out to Kathy Chu for a great interview and Leonidas for sharing. I tell you, it takes a village for one. And number two, this information just shows, and the way he's presenting it is a confidence of understanding that there is such a demand for what they're doing. And there's such a vulnerability to the current system, be it SWIFT or anything else that's available right now. And as Ashish Burla said, there is not one other company that offers the full-scale solution that they offer. That to me is remarkable. On this day, that's where I'm going to leave it. Hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment below. Check out all the links underneath the video. They're great products and services I use each and every day. And I tell you, there's great specials and deals, but you got to click the links to get them. I'll catch you on the next one.